Most buyer consultation forms ask the same 8 questions: budget, timeline, how many bedrooms, location preferences, pre-approval status. Those questions give you the minimum you need to start showing houses. They do not tell you what actually matters. Why is this buyer moving? What has to change in their current living situation for them to be satisfied? What has already fallen through and why? What is their actual decision-making process and who else is involved in it? What are the 3 things they absolutely will not compromise on versus the 5 things they say they want, but would give up if the right deal appeared? The difference between a consultation that surfaces all of that and one that collects the basic checklist is the quality of the questions. In this video, I'll generate a complete 30-question buyer discovery sheet tailored to a specific buyer profile in under 8 minutes using ChatGPT. Not a generic form, one built around the actual type of buyer sitting across from you. Building this kind of customized question set manually takes me 45 minutes. Here it is 8 minutes, and the output is better structured than anything I built manually. Quick disclaimer, this is a productivity demo, not professional advice. One important note specific to this workflow: fair housing rules apply to consultation questions too. You cannot ask questions that would indicate a preference, limitation, or discrimination based on a protected class. In the US, that means no questions about family status, religion, national origin, disability, or other protected characteristics. The same types of protections exist in Canada under provincial human rights codes, in the UK under the Equality Act, and in Australia under state anti-discrimination acts. The prompt we use includes explicit guardrails for this, but you still review every question before using it with real clients. Some links are affiliate, full disclosure in the description. Now, the workflow. Here is the real problem. A generic buyer consultation form gets you data. It does not get you understanding. You know the budget, you know the neighborhood, you know the bedroom count. What you often do not know after a generic intake is, what is this buyer's actual decision-making process? Have they made offers before, and why did those not work out? What is their worst-case scenario if they do not buy in the next 3 months? Who else has influence in the decision? A spouse, a parent, a financial advisor. And what does each of them prioritize differently? Those questions determine whether you are going to close this buyer in 2 weeks or spend 4 months showing houses to someone who is not actually ready to commit. I had a buyer last year where the standard intake told me first-time buyer, $350,000 to $400,000, wants a garage, South Denver. After 12 showings and 2 offers that fell through at the final decision point, I had a real consultation conversation with them and found out that the husband was terrified of being underwater if the market dropped. That was the actual objection. Not the house, not the price, not the features. That objection should have come up in consultation, not after 2 failed offers. The right discovery questions surface it early. Before you open ChatGPT, write a 2-sentence buyer profile with what you already know. The profile does not need to be detailed. It is based on the initial inquiry or the first email or call. Something like, first-time buyers, couple, pre-approved at $380,000, renting in downtown, want to be in a specific school district, mention they have been looking for 6 months. That is enough for the model to tailor the question set. The profile tells the model what categories to emphasize. A first-time buyer has very different discovery needs than a move-up buyer selling their current home, who has very different needs than an investor or a relocation buyer. I keep buyer profiles in a simple note in my CRM, just the intake paragraph, and I copy that into the prompt. Now let's build the prompt. Here is the complete prompt. Role instruction first. You are a real estate buyer consultation specialist helping a buyer's agent prepare a personalized discovery question sheet for a first meeting. The goal is to surface the buyer's true motivations, constraints, decision-making process, and potential objections early, before time is wasted showing unsuitable properties. Then the buyer profile block. First-time buyers, couple in early 30s, pre-approved at $380,000, currently renting downtown, looking for a specific school district in the Denver area, have been searching approximately 6 months, made 1 offer that fell through due to an inspection issue. Then the output format instruction. Generate exactly 30 questions organized in 6 categories of 5 questions each: motivation and timeline, financial picture and constraints, property must-haves versus nice-to-haves, decision-making process and stakeholders, past experience and blockers, and life context beyond the property. Then the guardrail block. This one is critical. Do not include any questions that reference protected characteristics under fair housing law. No questions about family plans, religion, national origin, disability, or any other protected class. Questions should be professional, open-ended, and designed to build trust, not interrogate. Flag any question that might need broker review for compliance. Running the prompt now. Let me walk through the 6 categories and what makes each one valuable. Motivation and timeline. These questions get at why the buyer is moving and what happens if they do not move. Questions like what is driving the timing specifically and what changes in your current living situation that would make this more urgent get you real information about commitment level that the standard timeline question misses. Financial picture and constraints. These go beyond the pre-approval number to get at what the buyer is actually comfortable spending versus what they are approved for. Those are often different numbers, and what monthly payment level creates anxiety versus comfort. Property must-haves versus nice-to-haves. This is standard on every form, but the category here forces the buyer to rank their priorities rather than just list them. Decision-making process and stakeholders. This is the category most consultation forms skip entirely. Who else is involved in the final yes? How are disagreements between the two of you typically resolved? And have you discussed what happens if you find a great house and one of you is not sure? When I tested this prompt without the stakeholder category in the instructions, just asking for 30 general buyer questions, the output had 0 questions about decision dynamics. The model defaulted to property features and financials. Adding the explicit category list is what forces the output to cover the areas that actually predict how smoothly the transaction will go. Past experience and blockers. If this buyer has been in the market 6 months, something has not worked. These questions surface that. Life context. Questions about what the neighborhood needs to support beyond the property features, schools, commute logistics, lifestyle, without touching protected class territory. Before this sheet goes to a real consultation, you read every question out loud. 2 checks. First, does each question sound natural in your voice? If it feels stiff or unnatural to you, reword it. Second, are there any questions that might touch on protected class territory in ways the guardrail missed? The model generally does well with the fair housing filter in this prompt, but you are the one who knows the exact regulations in your state or province, so that review is non-negotiable. I looked at a paid buyer consultation software product that runs about $30 a month. It has a generic question set you can customize. What it does not do is tailor the question set to the specific buyer type in front of you. For a first-time buyer, this output is meaningfully different from what you get for a move-up buyer or a relocation buyer. The prompt handles that because it starts from the profile you provide. I tried the paid tool for 2 months and switched back to this workflow. Once the review is done, I paste the questions into my CRM note for that buyer and use it as my guide for the consultation meeting. Time from this session. Writing the buyer profile paragraph, 90 seconds. Typing the prompt in ChatGPT, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Waiting for the output, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Reviewing the 30 questions and making 4 edits for tone, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Total, under 10 minutes. The manual version was 45 minutes minimum, and the output was a generic list I had been using for 2 years with the same structural gaps every time. No decision dynamics questions, no past experience questions, no questions about blockers. The tailored output here has exactly those categories because I told the prompt to require them. The quality of your buyer consultations determines whether you are working with serious buyers or spending Saturdays showing houses to someone who is not ready to buy. The questions you ask in that first meeting are the most important variable in that outcome. The full prompt is in the description. Swap in your buyer profile, and you have 30 tailored discovery questions in under 10 minutes. I also linked a Google Docs template with the 6-category structure pre-formatted. The free prompt pack in the description has this plus 9 other lead and consultation workflow prompts. Subscribe for 3 practical AI workflows a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Next video is about using AI to respond to negative Google and Zillow reviews in a way that is professional, specific, and does not make things worse. That one is surprisingly nuanced. See you then.